بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
People always asking me these days especially, how can we know Ahl al-Bayt more? How can we know Rasulullah more? At the very beginning, when we start talking about Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we start saying he is, Allah Azza wa Jal created everything from his light, from his ray, or whatever you want to call it in English. And many people, they always say, is it so big that you're saying that? Is it like you are trying to say something very big? How can we understand this exactly? Why? Because he was a just regular human being who lived among us, and then he got his daughter, and after that his own kids, as Imam after Imam, and then we can consider them the people who have all the knowledge, and that's it. They were trying to do that. They tell us what is exactly the right road to Allah Azza wa Jal, how we get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, and that's it. If we're gonna look into this perspective, we'll still be fine. I'm not proposing something more than that, but I just want you to see that how Allah Azza wa Jal, when He chose someone, when He chose something, it has to be perfect. Why? Because it's representing Him. For example, a different religion, always you see that the Jesus story, Mary story, even Jacob, Joseph, all the prophets, they were very bad. One of them, he raped his daughter. I'm not going to mention names because those names, they exist in the Old Bible, Old Testament, but I don't want to mention them because we don't believe on them and these kind of stories, and we condemn it too, because prophets are unable to do such behaviors. So if you want to talk about a prophet who raped his own daughter, or someone else who killed, he saw a very beautiful woman, and he sent her husband to a war later so he can marry her, or he can rape her, or all these stories, then what kind of religion is this? What kind of God is that? If you see the creation and other point of view, for example in the mathematics point of view, and physical point of view, and biological point of view, you see it very perfect. You look at the DNA, how beautiful it is. It has millions and millions and millions of combination, that each combination is given us a different identity. There's no two thumbs they look alike. There's no two signature look alike. Even inside your eyes, even inside your DNA, blood, the function of your brain, the function of your eyes, the eyes signature, everything inside you, even your voice, is very unique. Allah Azza wa Jal gave you that in a very unique way. So why, in this perspective, Allah Azza wa Jal, He tried to be like He's excelling in this kind of creation, and then when it's come to the people who are representing Him in earth, they were very bad. So we see here there is the balance or the scale. If you want to put all this together and all this in one side and the other on the other side, you see it's failing. It's failing to the point that people see Allah Azza wa Jal is very bad God, or if you don't want to call Him Allah, or He's God, or He's in any language Dieu, or whatever language you want to call Him, people look at Him as in a very bad image. And in reality, He is not like this, and He wasn't presented like that. Actually, in the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, if you want to know me more, you should know yourself. Because no one, for example, if you go to any place, start talking about God and the creation, and if you ask him about himself, he doesn't know who is he, then what? Then impossible for him to know beyond that. That's why the corruption started to happen. Scientists before always, the biggest name ever inhabited Earth with the science, for example, Einstein, Newton, all those big names, Tesla, I'll give you all those names. All of them, they believed in God, and in perfect God who doesn't make mistakes. And many times we heard about Allah, like God, He wasn't playing dice when He created Earth, and all these things. This is now classics. But if we look at the scientists now, they always try to go away from God. But if you look at their own life, they're very corrupted inside their life. All what they care about is the Nobel Prize. They care about publishing their own researches. So the greed, when it comes to those heads, they should be away from God. They always say God doesn't exist. Why? Because they want to make themselves better. That's why, because their life is very corrupted. So they need to corrupt all the system to feel better about themselves. But it's not going to continue. Why? Because this ideologies is going to end very soon, since physics, quantum physics, and all the sciences is going to end if there is no new perspective. That's why you start hearing now these days about something called the quantum physics in a way of the flower of life. Why? Because Einstein, he said before he dies, he was trying all his work, the last 30 years, to give a unified theory about universe, which is he failed. Why? Because at that time there was no given like all the sciences that we have now. We can know much more about matter, we can know about much more about all these things. So science now is going this way, trying to find a unified way to connect everything together, which is going to be the flower of life and all these things. So Allah Azza wa Jal is bringing all the science to the main foundation, which is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all his household. Since they are the flower of life, since they are the tree of life, since they are all this combination. If you don't really know what I'm talking about, I suggest to go open Google and YouTube. There's a beautiful movies explaining what exactly the flower of life. Because if you look at it, we have all the example in it in Hadith al-Kitha, the blanket hadith. If you see this hadith, what is it exactly? I'm gonna mention it very fast since I talked about it before. Sayyidah Zahra was inside her house. Rasulullah came. He sat under the blanket. After that, Hassan, Hussein, and Imam Ali and Sayyidah Zahra. And Allah Azza wa Jal said, I created all those people. I created the universe from those people. I created the sky, the earth, all what we have from the light of those people. So if we look at the flower of life, even the secret why Allah Azza wa Jal called the daughter of Rasulullah Az-Zahra, because her name means flower, because everything was created from her womb. After the creation of the light of Rasulullah and all the household, all the creation was created from her womb. So you see in that circle, 6 circles, they made all the foundation. Who's that circle? The 5 of Ahlul Bayt and Gabriel alayhi salam. If you read the Hadith al-Kisa, you will know what exactly I'm talking about. So now we're approaching this kind of science. It's very big science. It's the science where we found everything in life. Everything it fall under that. We look at DNA. If you look closer, make more research, you will find that DNA is from flower of life. Everything, chemistry is from the reaction of chemistry is under that. The science periodic table from chemistry too they fall under that. So everything is falling under that. So we ask, who are those people exactly? Are those people regular people who inhabited Earth and then that's it? They died and then we're gonna meet them after life? Or are they always with us, helping us? They're trying to achieve what we are not able to. They're trying to teach us even though they've been killed, martyred. And are they going to continue to be with us? And what exactly are they? Allah Azza wa Jal at the very beginning, if you open Surah Al-Baqarah, after Al-Fatiha, the very beginning of the Quran is very important, that section, that pages, because basically it's telling you what is the religion about, all the religion. After Surah Al-Fatiha, the opening of the book, next to it there's the Surah Al-Baqarah, the cow, Al-Baqarah, and then say Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This book does not have anything bad. I'm just translating from my own language. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, the people who believe in the ghaib. Ghaib, the science of the unseen. So if I come up to you now, I'll say, what is exactly the science of unseen? Many people, they say the science that we don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. So if I come to you, I'll say tomorrow something gonna happen, this guy is going to die or so on. You should believe on it. You will say, no, why I have to believe on it? I'll go back to the book, to the Quran. I'll say, you see, look, Allah Azza wa Jalla said you should believe in the science of unseen. So this is very illogical. What Allah Azza wa Jalla meant here is He was talking about Himself. The only science of unseen is Himself. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He is referring to Himself. He said, I am the unseen. الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. It doesn't mean you should tomorrow believe that something bad can happen if I tell you about it, you see. You should believe only in Allah Azza wa Jal as the Al-Ghaib al-Mutlaq. Like we cannot ever comprehend who is He. This is the science of unseen only. In different ayah, Allah Azza wa Jal He say, وَلَا يَعْلَمُ الْغَيْبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Nobody know this, the unseen except Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal in this ayah, it's talking about Himself. He's saying nobody will know who I am. Nobody know exactly who is Allah Azza wa Jal except Allah Azza wa Jal. That is the Ghaib al-Mutlaq. And then in different ayah he said, he's talking about al-Ghaib. He said, وَعَنْدَهُ مَفَاتِحُ الْغَيْبِ لَا يَعْلَمُهَا إِلَّا هُوَ. He has the key of the Ghaib, unseen. He himself he know it. Allah Azza wa Jal over here, He is talking about Ahlul Bayt. You see, this is the difference. So if today we're going to talk about Ahlul Bayt exactly, the only creator that you know who exactly they are is Allah Azza wa Jal. Because even if we're trying to adapt now to know them more and more and more, it will be impossible to understand. Why? Because we're trying to know them from the third dimension, the dimension that we live on, the dimension that our brain is working. So based on this dimension today, I'm going to talk about Rasulullah. Who is he exactly? I'm sorry if I made long opening, but I should make all this for you to understand what exactly it's going to be Rasulullah. To understand that he is beyond the physical form, he will be in different forms. Abu Abdullah, he was talking to his friend, Al-Imam Abu Abdullah, he was talking to his friend Al-Kalbi. He asked him, do you know the names of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? He said, yeah, I know three names, Yasin, Taha and Muhammad. Those three names, Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned them in the Quran. He said, no, Rasulullah, he has 10 names, and I want to teach you these 10 names. So now I'm going to say what Abu Abdullah told Al-Kalbi, his friend, and with every name I'm going to show you what kind of science is included in his name. After, like from this name, what Allah Azza wa Jal created. Because before, Imam could not explain this to his friend, since all the knowledge was very limited. If Abu Abdullah will talk to his friend about what I'm going to talk about now, he will be, see this person is infidel, kafir, and we shouldn't be following him, because they were very limited in knowledge. So at the very beginning, Allah he said, the first ayah said, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرَّسُولُ. This Muhammad is a prophet of Allah, and if Allah Azza wa Jal made him like he was killed or died, then you will leave him. Basically this ayah was revealed when Rasulullah was fighting in one of the battle, and there was a start to be like some of his friends saying Muhammad was someone killed him, and many of this munafiqeen, they left him alone. They left all the battle and they start running. You see, so over here it was a big problem. Why? Because those people, they were not fighting for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, they were fighting for the sake of a person. Then this is what we call it, the munafiqeen, the hypocrites. Hypocrites usually do that. They only there for their own interest. If the person of the interest leave, then they will leave immediately. So Allah Azza wa Jal, He said in the Quran, Muhammad is the prophet of God. Do you think if he was killed or martyred, then he died or he was martyred, then you will leave him alone? No, Allah Azza wa Jal for sure will replace someone else. Over here we see something Allah Azza wa Jal, He's talking about special science called Ilm al-Khulwa. Ilm al-Khulwa is a place that Allah Azza wa Jal, He is talking about an environment where all the hypocrites will be known. You see, Allah Azza wa Jal will test the hearts. You see, will test every single heart, and every single heart always will fall into the right place, where Allah Azza wa Jal needed this heart to be tested. I'm not sure if you get the point or not. Okay, over here, what does it mean exactly? Then Allah Azza wa Jal will replace, what He meant with this ayah, will replace everyone with Him, with Rasulullah. Many people thought that in this ayah Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. This is mean Muhammad is like any prophet, so He will replace him back, right? This is what I said at the beginning. But what Allah Azza wa Jal meant, He will replace the universe with him. You see, look how dear he is to Allah Azza wa Jal. If you look at it from this perspective, it's a little bit hard to look at it from this perspective, but if you look at it from this perspective, you will know how much he was dear to Allah Azza wa Jal. And from this one, you will know how much, what is, you need to be closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Because to be closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, you need to be tested. Tested with what? With your heart. So, like what Imam Ali said, I love you, love me guys, for your own interest. I love you for you to get me closer to Allah. You see, when Imam Ali, for example, he was serving people, he wasn't serving people for what? To get recognition or to get thanks. No, he was serving them to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Same thing with Rasulullah over here. This is what we call it Ilm al-Khulwa. Ilm al-Khulwa is where exactly you learn how to use other people to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. For example, in many dreams, many people still seeing Sayyidah Zahra till this moment crying over Imam Hussein, right? Why she's crying over Imam Hussein still till this moment? Even though Imam Hussein was martyred and Sayyidah Zahra was martyred and both are in heaven. Why is she still crying till this moment? Who knows why? To get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Why? Because she knows that Imam Hussein was very dear to Allah. And even though Sayyidah Zahra is very dear to Allah, but she's still using her own son to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. And Imam Ali is doing same thing, and Rasulullah is doing same thing. Even Rasulullah, he is the closest one to Allah Azza wa Jal. He is using his own son, Imam Hussein, to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal more and more and more, because this is the ultimate goal. You see, over here, the Prophet is teaching us through this ayah, in Allah Azza wa Jal, he's teaching us how to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal using each other.
What's the ayah again? I'm sorry.
وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. Yeah. And then after that, we say, there is a different ayah. It says, وَمُبَشِّرًا بِرَسُولٍ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ اسْمُ أَحْمَدٍ. Over here, Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentioned the name Muhammad as what? As Ahmad. We always heard the narrations before that Muhammad was used here. The name Muhammad only used on earth. In heaven, Rasulullah, the Prophet, he will be called Ahmad. He will not be called Muhammad anymore. Why? Because over there is where this name is dimensional, where all the dimension will happen. That's, for example, if we look at the first name of Allah Azza wa Jal, He started it with what? He started it with Alif, right? I mean, if we, at the very beginning of the alphabet, you see what? A, Alif. This Alif is everything begun by a point, and then this point made the Alif. The point is the singularity we talked about, and the first dimension was Alif. So Allah Azza wa Jal, He changed the meme, the M over here for Muhammad, and He replaced it with Alif. Actually, it was the very beginning, Alif, and then when He came over here, He was meme. For example, He will be in different universe, maybe Jim. Maybe He will be Muhammad. In different universe, maybe Sheen. You see, every universe have a different name, but the main name is what? Is Ahmad. You see, so for example, in this name, what we call it, Ilm al-Bushra wal-Hamd, where Allah Azza wa Jal, you say Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Tasbih al-Da'im, when you say thank you Allah, thank you Allah. This is the name came from. Why? Because when He was created at the very beginning, after that angels were created. But when angel was created, for example, they opened their eyes, they didn't know what to do. Exactly like us, when we open our eyes, who's gonna teach us? So who taught angels what to say, how to do tasbih? Rasulullah and Imam Ali. And even they called them names, their own names now, they were calling by Rasulullah. So this is from Ilm al-Bushra wal-Hamd. So anything that involving your dreams, anything involving dimensional things, who will be involved in that? The name Ahmad. You see? So Rasulullah is not what now? Two people. Not two people exactly, they're one people, but they have two dimensions, right? Two dimensions. Now we go to the third one. And then he said, وَلَمَّا قَامَ عَبْدُ اللَّهِ يَدْعُوهُ كَادُوا يَكُودُونَ عَلَيْهِ لِبَدًا. This is from Surah Al-Jinn. وَلَمَّا قَامَ عَبْدُ اللَّهِ يَدْعُوهُ كَادُوا يَكُونُونَ عَلَيْهِ لِبَدًا. Over here, Allah Azza wa Jal is teaching us about what the jinn. Over here, Rasulullah was talking to the jinn, and what's happening here, the jinn is different than us. For example, now we are sitting all in this room. We sit in each one separate than other. But jinn are able to sit on top of each other in millions. In this room might be filled with 1 million jinn now, for example, or 2 million or 3 million, and we won't be able to feel them except they're very heavy. Why? Because they're one on top of each other, one on top. So when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam he was teaching the jinn, many of these jinn were on top of each other to the point that there was no more oxygen to breathe. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said what? He said over here that He is saving him from all this pressure. This is from the outside, from ilm al-zahir. But from ilm al-batin, from the inside, anything that Allah Azza wa Jal said about a jinn in the Quran mean in the Arabic language, ajanna shay. Ajanna shay is what? You didn't see it. That's why we call jinn a jinn in Arabic. We call them jinn, why? Because we cannot see them. If you covered, for example, your head like this, your eyes, you covered yourself, what you gonna call this? Ajanna shay mean you make it disappear. Okay? So over here, Allah Azza wa Jal, He is talking about ilm al-ubudiyya. Why? Because He mentioned Rasulullah as what? As Abdullah. You see, this is the ultimate thing. Do you follow me, or do you follow me? Do you have any problem saying what's going on? No? Okay. Over here in ilm al-jinn, there's ilm al-ubudiyya. Allah Azza wa Jal, He is teaching us how to be a servant for Allah Azza wa Jal. For example, a servant, if you wanna study religion, what's gonna happen to you? You're gonna be under a lot of pressure from outside. Your parents will be against you. Society will be against you. Many people will be against you. Exactly same thing like the hidden things on top of each other. You see, jinn is on top of each other, so there's many problems on top of each other around you, circulating you. What's gonna happen here? You're gonna almost stop breathing. But who's gonna save you here? Allah Azza wa Jal. Through what? Through the right servancy. When you are a good servant to Allah Azza wa Jal, He will serve you. He will save you at the same time. Do you understand? This is where the connection happened. Okay, the third thing is the fifth name. The fourth name is in different ayahs saying Taha ma anzalna alayka al-Qur'ana litashqa. In the very beginning of Surah Taha. Over here, Allah Azza wa Jal, He is teaching us that the dimensions of voice exist too inside the Quran al-Kareem. In different ayah, Allah Azza wa Jal, He say what? وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. When you read the Quran, read it in a loud voice, in a beautiful form. Why? Because with voice, there's secrets too. For many years, many narrators, they look at this name, Taha, and say Allah Azza wa Jal called His Prophet Taha. He is free to do whatever he wants. But if you go inside the room and you recite Taha in a loud voice, what are you gonna hear? You're gonna hear something different. You're gonna hear Ta. You know that if you look at any like a bomb, especially the nuclear, atomic bomb, will be like this going up, and then there's the echo around it. This is exactly like that. Taha mean when something very heavy comes to earth, and when this heavy, when it come, it will make a big loudy voice. So it will be like Taha. You see that around the echo around it. Allah Azza wa Jal over here is using the voice, not the word, for you to know and to imagine what exactly Taha. So if Rasulullah called Taha ma anzalna alayka al-Quran, so the great voice that came to the universe is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, not ilm al-kitab. He is beyond ilm al-kitab. Why? Because Allah Azza wa Jal will not say Taha ma anzalna alayka al-Quran litashqa. You see? He's not going to mention the book twice. First he mentioned Rasulullah and then the book. So who is more important, the book or Rasulullah? Rasulullah, because he made all this voice, everything was shake when he came here. See? This is the difference. And what we call it ilm al-tanzil. If every single one is open to that. What is ilm al-tanzil? Is when you start receiving ideas and you start receiving answers from upstairs. Allah Azza wa Jal opened that to any one of His servants, any one of His own people.
So like divine inspiration?
Divine inspiration, yeah. And many people, they refuse that. They say, how Allah Azza wa Jal is going to send you revelation. Only revelation happened to prophets, right? This is what but we can answer by what? The revelation from Jibreel alayhi salam is different than regular revelation. How we can compare it in different ayat. the Nahl, the bees in the Quran, they had revelation. Moussa, she had a revelation. Many different people, they have revelation. So you are open to revelation too from Allah Azza wa Jal. But don't come tomorrow or next week you tell me Allah Azza wa Jal called me and he said I'm a good guy and you should follow me. Because there is no more prophecy. No more prophet. Nobody can become prophet anymore. Only answers. For example, if you've been struggling all your life for some answers, He will send you some answers to angels. But they will not talk to you and fly around you and impress you with their wings. You will receive it to your head. This is depend how pure your heart is. Okay, and different ayah is saying Yasin wal Quran al Hakim innaka lamina al mursalin ala siratin mustaqim. Over here Allah Azza wa Jal is Surah Yasin is calling the Prophet by the name Yasin. Yasin mean Ya Sirr al-Wujud. This is I'm just trying to give you the answer immediately. Yasin equal to Ya Sirr. What Ya Sirr al-Wujud mean? Mean the secret of existence. And over here in this ayah, Allah Azza wa Jal, He is talking about al-Wilayah. Why? Because when Allah Azza wa Jal is saying Ya Sirr al-Wujud wal Quran al-Hakim, the Quran is wise. You have a prophet that he is the reason of existence, and you have the book that is what is equal to that existence for you to know what is it exactly. After that you need what? Sirat mustaqim, right path. But he is already in the right path. Rasulullah is the right path. So who is the other right path? Imam Ali. He is talking to you ala sirat al-mustaqim. We have a different narration. Some people they ask us, did Allah Azza wa Jal mention Imam Ali in the Quran? We say yes, He did mention him in this ayah. If you read it very well, Yasin wal Quran al Hakim innaka lamina al mursalin aliyun siratul mustaqim, because it will be impossible for you to know that what? Impossible to understand that Allah Azza wa Jal is not logical. He told you that Yasin, and then He talked to you about the wisdom of the Quran, and you think after all that Rasulullah will be in the wrong path? So over here we're gonna wait Imam Sahab al-Asr wa Zaman for us to change this one, because people changed it. Innaka lamina al-mursalin. It was before Aliyun siratul mustaqim. Every single time we say what in the Surah Al-Fatiha? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Malik Yawmiddin Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Guide us to the right path. Well, who is the right path? Over here Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying you Aliyun siratul mustaqim. But now we're gonna read it ala sirat al-mustaqim till Imam Mahdi come inshallah. So in this over here Allah Azza wa Jalla He is telling us that Rasulullah is the science of wilayah. Okay, we continue. In different name He said Noon wal qalam wa ma yasturun ma anta bi ni'mati rabbika bi majnoon. Over here Allah Azza wa Jalla He is talking about Noon. Noon is one of the letter of inside the Arabic alphabet. Always we refer that to who? To Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We say that Allah Azza wa Jal He mentioned him over here because in the creation at the very beginning of the flower of life, if you look how Allah Azza wa Jal created everything from flower of life, you see all the Arabic alphabets inside this. You see it in 3D. If you open a movie and you closely, you stop every single minute the movie, you see a different Arabic alphabet. And the very beginning, one of the first alphabets was what? Noon. But from Noon, what exactly was created? Who know? Who can imagine in 3D how Noon? For example, if you put Noon from here and then it's going up and then the point is moving between this, what exactly you will have? You will have the spiral. I'm sorry? Yeah, you will have the spiral.
From the Fibonacci sequence?
Yeah, Fibonacci sequence. You see the Noon, we write it in 2D. When we write it in 2D, how we write it? We write it like a small bucket and then a point on top of it, right? But the real shape of Noon is not like that.
How is it like
You're saying that's how the line under the dot gets there from the beginning, and it goes and then it gets there.
Yeah, you see, imagine you have a circle, but the circle what is like this. Okay, just half a circle, and then you have a point that it's moving around that circle, and then from that point what like there's ink is going down, and then you turn the circle slowly and you move the point up. What's gonna happen?
It's gonna like spread.
You're gonna have the spiral. Everything created from what? Last couple weeks ago we talked about what? We talked about the golden ratio, and this is how everything was created, from the golden ratio, from the noon. And al-batin was created from Imam Ali alayhi salam. Reverse the noon, Imam Ali on the other side, and it will be almost impossible for us to imagine how the point is moving inside the batin, except it is a minus spiral. You see, there's positive spiral, there's minus spiral, and this is how we get the existence happen. Over here, Allah Azza wa Jal is talking us about Ilm al-Kitab. The mother of all book is existing in that place exactly. Many people, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, in where? In the spiral?
Yes. All the sciences still exist in a spiral. I know it's very hard to understand how exactly, but inshallah one day, if we get more advanced, inshallah one day if we are in a big hall and then we use the projector and 3D and all this stuff, I can show you. But for now, it's good to know that noon is the science of spiral come alive inside noon. If we imagine it 3D, the problem we always see things only 2D, but just imagine things 3D. Sometime in the Quran, if you imagine letter 3D, many dimensions will open inside your head. And inside this noon wal qalam is the science of the book. All books, not just the Quran, all books. The Torah, the Bible, all the right books. In different place, Imam, he talked about Ya ayyuha al-muddathir. This is one of the name of Rasulullah al-Muddathir. Over here, he talked them about ilm al-da'wah, the science of how approaching people with the right knowledge. This should be every one of our duty here. We should always tell people the truth about this message. We should represent this message in the right way. If you read Surah Al-Muddathir, it will show you how to do it, the instruction of that. And then at the very end, he talked to him about inside al-ayah, Ya ayyuha al-mudzammil. In different ayah, Surah Al-Mudzammil, he said, Ya ayyuha al-mudzammil, this is mean ilm al-qiyam. Ilm al-qiyam, what does it mean? The things that move you from one place to another place. Like it's like a revolution, rebuilding.
Yeah.
Qiyam. Yeah. It is like a rebuilding from thing that you've been doing to a different thing that you should be doing.
Oh, because you're going from one stage.
From one stage to another stage. There's unlimited stages that we can go to.
Like hijrah from one.
From place to place, learning more and more and more, teaching many things. But it is more, this science involving more into changing things, into revolutions. And then at the very end he said, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَدْ أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكُمْ ذِكْرًا. He said, fear God, the people of the right wisdom, the people who really believed what Allah Azza wa Jal was revealed, and then أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكُمْ ذِكْرًا, and Allah Azza wa Jal revealed you what? A dhikr to say, like dhikr, like something, remembrance. So the person asked the Imam, where's exactly the name of Rasul? He said, إِلَيْكُمْ ذِكْرًا is the name of Rasulullah. Al-dhikr, remembrance, is Rasulullah. You see? If you want to remember Allah Azza wa Jal, you remember Him through what? Through saying, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This is the ultimate dhikr. I'm gonna just pass by it. Explain what exactly Allahumma salli ala Muhammad mean. The only dua that we have, dua means the only supplication that has everything in it. Everything that what exactly Allah Azza wa Jalla want from you is the Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Why? Because it began by Allah. Allahumma, we ask Allah, salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, and it will show the prayers. And when we die, what's the first thing ever Allah Azza wa Jalla is gonna look at? Our prayers.
Your prayer.
Yeah, and inside this one there's prayers. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Many people they have a misconception what exactly this is mean. When you say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, Allah is not waiting you to say it for Him to bless Rasulullah. He's not waiting you. Rasulullah always under the blessings of Allah. So when you say it, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, it is you are included in a circle of the blessings. you are entering yourself, you are indulging yourself into the circles of blessings. You see? So when you say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, is Allah Azza wa Jal is including you with that. Always we recommend when you're not doing anything, when you're just sitting home, always try to do this. Allah Azza wa Jal with that will give you a lot of good deeds. A very it is recommended always, because this is the only dhikr that you can do everything with it. For example, if you always mention this dhikr inside you, and someone will come to you and say, I'm feeling very bad, can you do something for me to make me feel good? What we call it ra'wa. And then if you just put your hand, you say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad 17 times, he will feel better. You see? But what is the condition? To always mention it inside your heart, to make everything inside you, inside this blessing. You can use it in anything. You can use it, for example, if someone is having headache, you can put your hand in his head, you mention it 17 times and he will be better. For example, if someone is having hardship in his life, in his own life, you can tell him to do it 100 times every single day. Things will be better for him. Why? Because this dhikr, you can do anything with it. I told you, this is the only dhikr that it is specialized with all troubles in your life. You cannot find a job, you cannot, you have a love story that you want it to be happening, all these things, you want to be married, you want Allah Azza wa Jal to bless you with many things. Always mention this dhikr in any form you wanted it. I know people who do it 10,000 times a day. Yeah, 10,000 times a day equal to 3 hours. But maybe while you're driving to your work, it will take you an hour, and then while you're coming back, and then you sit home at night, you're just watching a show and you have a masbaha in your hand. While you're watching that, you're doing tasbih, you are collecting a lot of good deeds. So always try to invest in your time, because time is passing very fast, and then soon we will be under the ground and nobody will remember us after. Yes.
Sorry, why 17 times?
Every number has a certain secret, for a certain power, certain secret. That's why I said, for example, if a person that he does not always say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, and he wants someone else to feel good, he will say it 70 times. But if he always say it, he always mention it in his head, he need only 17 times. It is the person who is the gun. You know what we call it? For example, this is just a different. For example, someone who has a lot of good knowledge. What we call knowledge are the bullets, right? But he doesn't know how to use them. Why? Because he doesn't have the right gun. This is how we call it. I mean, it's bad to give this example about guns and bullets, but this is the only good example that will be understood. Many of us now, for example, we have a lot of good knowledge. Every one of us have a good experience. But if you didn't put this experience in the right place, your bullet's not gonna reach different generations. So it is like that. The tasbih and the salawat are the bullets. And if you don't have the right gun, that will be you. Your bullets won't reach anybody outside.
So that has to do with teaching you how to spread the knowledge.
Exactly. So, for example, if you want to see Rasulullah, you see him as a human being, and you see him all these dimensions, and you can open your imagination about who is he exactly. But at the very end, the more you know about Ahlul Bayt, the more you know about Rasulullah, Allah Azza wa Jal will open for you different things, but you will never know who they are exactly, except Allah Azza wa Jal, because He said, وعنده مفاتح الغيب لا يعلمها إلا هو. مفاتح الغيب they are مفاتح الغيب أهل البيت. You see?
I'm sorry, but they never actually get to the ghaib. They'll never come and see Allah.
No, أهل البيت, they know everything from the very beginning to the very end, but the only thing that they don't know exactly what it is Allah Azza wa Jal. But they know Him more than us. In one of the hadiths, he said, Rasulullah, with Imam Ali was sitting, he said, مَا عَرَفَكَ يَا عَلِي إِلَّا أَنَا وَاللَّهِ. Nobody know who exactly you are, Ali, except me and Allah Azza wa Jal. And nobody know exactly who I am except you and Allah. And nobody know exactly who is Allah except me and you. You see why? Because they were at the beginning of the creation. You see, so the two people that they understand all dimension, they know all the 18,000 universe they exist on at the same time. They know all the prophets because they were created from their own nur. They all, you know, if I tell you where exactly we live now, you will go home sick about where exactly we live now, because this is very heavy science. But all this is known by Rasulullah and Imam Ali at the same time. This is how you know Allah Azza wa Jal more. So for me to know Allah Azza wa Jal more, I need to know both of them, because they know Allah Azza wa Jal more. You see, it's like a spiral too. This is the Ilm al-Nun. If you want to know, Ilm al-Nun is not just for Rasulullah, it's for you at the same time. But for sure you have a limit you can comprehend, because Allah Azza wa Jal opened for you, but nobody ever, the ultimate people who reach that, they will call them before Al-Karubiyun, and you cannot reach more than that, because it will be impossible for us to reach. I mean, now if you imagine it, you will get a headache. What about you living that? That's very heavy to know. Any more questions?
I have,
Imam Ali alayhi salam.
Yeah.
Is his name different in another dimension also, or and how about us also?
Yeah, you want me to reveal a secret now? Okay. Before Imam Ali was his name Iliya. Pi was 3.12. When he turned Ali, pi is 3.13.
When he became
No, I mean 3.14 now. Before was 3.13 pi. That's why he was named Iliya. So you get the answer yourself. I cannot say, because if I say it and a scientist will hear this lecture, he will say that person is a pure crazy, because pi does not change. And in my belief, pi does change. It can reach up to 3.21 and then will move to 4.
Iliya in the Arabic letters, you mean?
Yeah.
The Arabic?
Iliya in Arabic or English, it doesn't matter. It all will reform his name into the pi, yeah. Because a pi in English, the way how you write it, if you write it in Arabic, it will be what? Ba, the B, and then the alif, and then ya, right? The alphabet word, from what to what? In Arabic, from alif, ba, ta, and then to what? To ya. So inside the pi you have alif and ya, all the creation, and the very beginning what?
from Imam,
The B is who? Is Imam Ali, and the Nun is Rasulullah.
How about us, Hajj? Do we have different names, or no? We stay the same.
No, we have a different names, but over here, well, for us it will be. We can make it same thing. We can make it different, but we have a different name. We have the ultimate name, and only known by Ahlul Bayt. Yeah.
How about like our names? They fit us, like you know how.
Yeah, she just asked me that.
Chosen by Allah?
Yeah, she just asked me. We were created from those names. We think that our parents, they chose us the name, but in reality we were created from those names. Even though, for example, if you go to United States, they have a different different like shape of the name or something, but they all go to the Arabic language. But we have a place. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So like our names shape us, right?
No, they have an energy to not shape you. They affect you.
Yeah.
They don't shape you. They affect you.
In a good way or bad way?
No, for sure in good way always.
Depends
But
on the name, though.
Some
Yeah.
people a bad way. I knew a guy named Yazid who turned out to be a killer.
Yeah, me too.
Is that his fault?
I'm sorry.
Is that his fault?
Yeah.
If his name is Yazid? He didn't choose to be Yazid.
No, you see
Yeah, it
that.
goes back to
You see that's why I didn't. Yeah.
Right?
No, it's not because Yazid by itself, the name Yazid, it wasn't bad name. The person Yazid made it bad. Rasulullah had friends who were named Yazid before, and they were very good friends, and they died very mu'minin. And after Yazid bin Muawiyah, there's people who called Yazid, and they were good people. It doesn't fit this rule. But the problem is how people look at name.
Is that comes from the energy of like
Energy of
Mars?
our brain. It doesn't come the energy of the
It's the
existence.
same idea as the energy in the water.
Yes,
The same idea with the name.
exactly. If many people believe this name is bad, this name will start to be bad energy. That's why name change over time.
because your thoughts manifest.
Our thoughts, not Allah Azza wa Jal's word.
That's like what they teach in psychology.
Yes.
You know, nature and nurture.
Yes. But it will not affect him, like I said. It's not his fault because his name is Yazid. it has a certain energy to affect you, but it's not bad in a bad way.
It's still your choice. You still have free will.
Yes. You can change it. يا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل